Good evening, Simon here, Explosive Action, and I am back for a March Metal Vinyl update. Big stack here to get through, so let's get into it. And in the background we are listening to Pagan with Heathen Upheaval. This is their demo from 1998, I think it was. Yeah, demo 1998. I've had it that long. Turkish black metal band. They never did much more than some demos. I was looking them up. They did a demo CD in 2019 that came out in 2020. So I guess they're back? I'm not entirely sure, but awesome stuff if you just like your straight ahead black metal with little twiddly bits like this in your dissection-y, early dissection-y bit of Emperor, you know, all the classics. Great stuff here from Pagan. The first three records in this pile I'm going to get through really quick because I've shown them on CD before. And the first one, every man and his dog has shown at this point. Worm, Foreverglade. Fantastic album. Made my top 10 of last year. Didn't make the number one. You have to go watch that video to see what number one was, but it did make that top end of year list because it's a fantastic Death Doom album. It's deserving of all the hype, and I needed to get it on wax. I just needed to. Love this artwork. Artwork is absolutely sensational. $20 spin release. So it's fantastic. Look at the guys there on the back. Amazing. I just got the wide release, so it's just on black. Didn't get any fancy color one. And you get the inner sleeve, which has lots of art. And I believe this is a poster, which folds out into different to the cover art itself, which is always nice. But I never have places to hang these things. And yeah, that's what you get. It's actually flushed inner sleeve. Green on the inside, which is very cool, very slimy. So yes, it's an amazing album. I had to get it on wax, and now I do. And yeah, that's it. Worm, Foreverglade, fantastic. Next one, similar theme, similar vein, also made the list. This was Dream Unending with Tide Turns Eternal. These guys do Death Doom as well, but whereas Worm was a bit more into the disembowelment style, these guys are more the early peaceful bands. You know, think your Paradise Lost. It's in that pocket. It's so good. This is from guys in Tomb Mold having a crack at the Death Doom sound. So again, $20 spin. I've talked about these on CD. I talked about them on the top 21 of 21 list, but I did want to show the wax because beautiful. Love the splatter on this one. Really fantastic. Really good stuff. And yeah, I just lucked out because this was the release that the record shop had. Most of the time, color splatters through $20 spin. You've got to get it through them directly. I can't be bothered doing that, so I figured I was going to get black like I did with the Worm, but here we are. Lovely color copy, and you get a lyric sheet as well, nice and blue. So yeah, highly recommend that album. If you need two Death Doom albums from 2021, make it Worm, make it Dream Unending. And the other one I'll quickly rip through. This is outstanding. I showed this on CD some time ago. I think I've played it in the background in one of my videos. Miasmatic Necrosis. Trigger warning, too late. This is how you do gore grind in the modern age. Absolutely fantastic. 2020 debut. These guys came out of absolutely nowhere as far as I can tell. Not too sure what the history is, but no demos, no EPs, just bang. Here's an album. And it just floored everybody. Everybody has given us complete praise. US band, 21 tracks in 21 minutes. Look at this. Just, man, you don't have to guess what they're playing. They're playing gore grind. Amazing. For fans of, you know, Blue Holocaust, Pharmacist, you know, the modern, well-produced gore grind. It's not, you know, some Brazilian oddity here from 1996. This is really top quality, heavy as hell stuff. Massive production. One of the best I've ever heard in gore grind. So yeah, Miasmatic Necrosis now picked up on wax because it is just so freaking awesome. There's the inner sleeve. Love it. And it is a 45 RPM. Just got the black one. I think there was a red one as well. Would have been nice to get red with all the blood, but anyway. It's a fantastic album, so check it out. And before we get to the rest of the LPs, let's take a look at a fanzine. It's a new one. well, it's a new issue of a magazine that came out about 2005 or 2006. This is Devoured Death, Australian Zine, issue number 2. Like I said, issue 1 came out 15 years ago, and here we are with issue 2. So it even says here in the front, by this trajectory, we should be getting the next issue in 2038, but hopefully not. So yeah, very DIY fanzine, which is very cool. It's got the your photocopied printouts stuck together, assembled on a art table or something. All that really cool DIY punk aesthetic. I love it. You get interviews with death metal bands. There's Slugger Thor. There's Nocturnal Graves, some Australian death thrash there. Mortuous, Cadaveric Incubator, and Anthropophagus reviews. So we get some reviews of albums and things. There's a really cool section in here, which was where I can find it. There's more reviews here. There was section here, From the Past Comes the Storms. They're reviewing old classics, and I spied the Alter Cartilage release. That is one hell of a split CD, classic Finnish death metal there. So yeah, this is a really cool fanzine. If you want to get hold of copies of this, I'll leave some information in the description below. But I believe Iron Bonehead might have been getting copies, so do check your international distributors. But check the links below. There's an email address where you can work out how to get a copy of it. And what I really liked, this was the bonus points for me on this one. The back here has a promo for Encabulous. Now, that itself wasn't a surprise because this magazine is put out by one member of Encabulous, who don't exist anymore. But seeing this promo on the back here, Exhumed Abominations, Nuclear Winter is putting out a compilation CD of everything the band did. And this makes me very happy because I don't think Encabulous had much of a international reputation. I'm not entirely sure. Nobody I ever talked to knows anything about them. The exception of Ken's Death Metal Crypt. So I'm really thrilled to see a compilation coming out, and it's got the self-titled demo from '97, the Dark Divinity demo from 1998, which is probably their best one, the Abandoning the Flesh mini CD, which has a really cool cover of Bolthrower's Cenotaph, and last track is an unreleased split EP song, which I don't think I've actually heard. So there you go. Encabulous were awesome. They sound like Incantation meets Bolthrower, top quality stuff. But this is Devoured Death, issue number 2. Look, interview with Frenolith. Like, this is really cool stuff. Not too sure how many pages it is. It's quite a few. 50 or so, 64. Yeah, about 64 pages. So there you go. Issue 2 of Devoured Death. Links in the description. Okay, on to the rest of the albums. We've got here, this is tight stuff. Diabolizer. Look at that cover. So good. Oh man. Diabolizer with, I'll probably get this a bit butchered, Calcadonian Death. Calcadonian, lots of K's. This is just killer. 2021 release, full length from this band. They're from Turkey, like Pagan. They did a 2016 EP, which I missed. I never heard of it. It's the first time I ever heard of the band. And it's their first full length. So what do you get with these guys? You get something that I don't normally find attractive in death metal. It's a very modern, clean sound. I don't usually appreciate that. I mean, you see these updates, I go for the murky, horrible stuff. These guys, this is... I gave it a 30-second quick listen, I remember, when I saw the cover and went, no, that's not the style I like, and I skipped past it. But then at one point I decided to just listen to the whole thing on Bandcamp, and it sold me. It's what I needed to be convinced. Jumped in, I bought the LP when it arrived at a local Melbourne distributor. I think it was the Searchers had this in. Great shop. So ordered the LP. This is for fans of Hate Eternal, later, Vital Remains, Decapitated, Vomitory. Those kinds of bands. That's more what you're getting here. You're not getting the slimy, horrible, nasty death metal. You're getting more precision, razor edge stuff. It's not too clicky drums or anything like that. It's not ridiculous. It's just they've spent time and money and effort to make a well-produced, well-sounding, clinical, but not sterile sounding death metal album. Yeah, it's fantastic. The riffs on this are, it's full of speed. Like, the whole thing is full of speed. The riffs are just fantastic. It's got a real punchy snare. It's got some little sort of, the toms have got sort of a real poppy sound to them. I really like it. It doesn't sound like Hellhammer in the late 90s, you know, boom 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 boom. It doesn't sound like that. It's a good sound. It's got a bit of pop to them. And it's got really deep, snarly, incomprehensible vocals. I'm not too sure which guy's the vocalist here. Yeah, the bass also comes out to play, shows itself, not just being heard, it's being not just being felt, it's being heard. That's what I wanted to say. It does do a bit of exploration separate to the rhythm guitar, so it's really cool. And what I really like is that the songs are really well structured. They've got a length to them. They're like 5-7 minutes long. They're not little short little things. Well thought out songs here. This is the kind of thing that I've wanted from modern death metal. That there's everybody else. When you leave the underground a bit and you go into the nuclear blast bands and or the Century Media bands, they always leave me wanting. They're just overly produced, and it's just, I don't know, I don't get any joy out of them. This is the kind of stuff that I would expect bigger labels to release that I should like, that I rarely do. But this, this is out on our MSUO, is a nice underground label. So, yeah, fantastic stuff here. It's just black wax, nothing too exciting there, just black. And what else do we have in here? We have a sort of matte thanks list and lyrics there. That's about all, nothing else too much exciting in there. So yeah, 5 to 7 minutes sort of length songs, some slower sections, really ripping leads, love the leads on this. Evil sounding modern death metal that will get a wider reach than the slimy stuff that I usually listen to. So there you go. Diabolizer with Caledonian Death. Highly recommended. Okay, so here is the murky, slimy, horrible death metal. This is from Hungary. It's going to be a bit reflective. Hopefully you can see it. This is Rotadas with, and I've got no chance of saying this, Kopar Hant as Alvilag Fele. I'm going to sound like the worst tourist by saying that, but anyway, it's the best I can do. After the really excellent 2019 demo tape, this is the band's 2021 debut on MSUO again, doing the good stuff. The album's title that I poorly said, Google translates it as Baron Killed Towards the Underworld. I'm sure that first two words are wrong, but Towards the Underworld? Yep, that's what's going on there, absolutely. They got that bit right. So, it's a two-piece band. One of the guys is in Cryptworm. Gives you a bit of a sense of the sound here, but this is slower and doomier, dirgier, darker than Cryptworm. This, you get 6 tracks, just 6 tracks on here. They've all got a good length to them. It's not short little blasty songs here. This is, it's very purposeful death doom, sometimes getting a little funeral-y, especially in the vocals, because they are so low. They are right down there. It's got really nice dissonant guitars, twin guitars, very dissonant sounding. Crawls at pace for about 80% of the time, 10% sort of in the mid-range, and then 10% just those blasts, which is very much sort of the pattern you get out of the more funeral doom bands. But I'm more comfortable saying that this is in the death doom, just really slow, not your asphyx death doom. Focus on the doom. That's what these guys have got here. If you like Mortiferum, just slow it down a little bit. Rotadas, it's great stuff. Crips from Finland, that'll be another comparison, I think, but again, slower. Heavy as Blue Whale Steak. This is nuts. Absolutely love it. Really cool, simple artwork. My tape needs changing. Get to that in a second. And we get Black Wax. Nothing too exciting there. And lyrics, both sides, the thanks list. So yeah, another really great MSUO release. Love the stuff those guys put out. And another one I was managed to get locally from the Searchers down in Melbourne. Great shop. So there you go. Rotterdam with Toward the Underworld and some other title that I can't pronounce. Next up we have the latest one from Stargazer, a South Australian band. This is Psychic Secretions, and off the bat I'll tell you, I should not have slept on this. I should have picked this up when it came out last year, because it should have gone on the top 21 of 21. This is an outstanding album. Stupid on me for not jumping on it, but I am stoked that I have finally picked it up now. Probably again quite reflective, so hopefully you can see the pretty awesome artwork there, all drawn in the center there. There's a lot going on there. There's a face you can see made up of, it's a planet. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a ship. I don't know what's going on. All kinds of stuff. It's very psychic. It's secreting it. Whatever. Fourth album from this band. They take their time putting stuff out. Their first one was in 2005, and critical acclaim. Amazing. The Scream That Tore the Sky, I think is what it was called. Fantastic album. These guys are pretty much veterans. They've been around since 2000. Did a split with Invocation, who was a very short-lived band, which were excellent. But anyway, all their albums are fantastic, and this is their last one. They do one every sort of 5 years or so. Really think about the time. They really spend the time making the songs perfect, and this is probably their best album. So well done to the guys for absolutely nailing it. And again, shame on me for not getting it until now. But anyway, what do you get with Stargazer? They're one of those cult bands almost. I know they've got international fandom. The Aussies all love them. We protect them, but they are a bit of a cult band. You get high quality avant-garde death metal. It's pretty weird stuff. Mix the sort of core of the chasm, and although these bands came later, I thought, particularly on this album, these comparisons made sense. If you look at Nothing But the Whole era Emptiness and later era Horrendous, yeah, again, those bands are later than Stargazer, but on this particular album, I could hear a lot of that similarity there. Not saying that these guys were inspired by it all, but some similarities there to help you understand what Stargazer on this album might sound like to you. Yeah, there's also plenty of just Australian sounding riffs like that Black Thrash, Destroyer 666, Trem riff stuff. Lots of that in there with the weirdness. But mostly this is sort of mystic, esoteric, progressive, black death metal. Fantastic. Just gorgeous inners as well. Really, really good release. Out on Nuclear War now. I think you could hopefully still get copies. I got this locally without much effort. Just random shop had one, so hopefully you can get it too. So we'll take a quick look. Just black wax again. Not too exciting there. And actually it's not very exciting at all. You just get a promo sheet. No, that's it. Wasn't even worth me taking out. I'll put it back in a minute. Yeah, Stargazer absolutely rules. The bass guitar gets a bit of love again in this one. Has a bit of presence, like your later era Death. Really stands out. And it's got a bunch of softer, sort of doomier sections, undistorted, just clean sung vocals, very 70s sounding crash cymbals, but very organic sounding drums in those softer moments. But really, overall, this is just sort of progressive, avant-garde black death metal that Stargazer do on Psychic Secretions. Absolutely pick it up. So here's another 2021 release that I'm late to the party on, and I feel like rewriting my top 21 of 21 list, because again, this should probably have been included. Oh, this is fantastic. Enigmatum, I think is how you say it, with Deconsecrate, 2021 release, like I said, on $20 spin. Again, great label, always putting out great stuff. Really superb, well thought out, technical death metal with a blackened edge. I refuse to say tech death, because that implies other things, and you know it implies other things. This is technical death metal. Really great sound to it, not processed like you would get with that tech death stuff, which we will not talk about. To me, this sounds like possibly what Anata would have released if they went on to do a 5th album. Geez, I miss that band. They were so good. Kind of get a bit of that here. Does feel Anata-ish. A bit of intestine Baalism in here. Again, with that modern horrendous sound. It's very popular in a lot of bands. I hear a lot of that too. A little bit of Slaughter of the Soul out the gates. Not going to lie, I've definitely heard some of that in here too when it comes to the melody. But really, this is just a monstrous release of riffs. A lot of sort of time changes because of the technical edge to it all. Look at that cover art. Absolutely fantastic. It's mostly pretty fast paced, which, you know, the technical death metal bands usually go kind of fast, really show off the chops, but it does slow down for some instrumentals, some instrumental bridges and things. Yeah, it's such a good album. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's got a bit of a blackened thing into it too, which, you can see the logo there. There is a bit of black metal around the edges. I would not call it Black Death at all, but you can feel there's some influence in there. It is really, to me, technical death metal, Anata style. They had a 2019 release on Chaos Records. Never even heard it, probably because it's on Chaos Records and their stuff is just, we've got to say, it's poorly distributed, never shows up. And I only really came across this because it's on 20 bucks spin, which shows you how good their distribution is. So yeah, I picked it up at my local shop, walked in, it was there, and I knew people were talking about it. I went, oh yeah, Enigmatum. Put my headphones in, yeah, I'm buying that. Walked out with it, and I'm very glad that I did. Nice colour version too, which was for a local shop, pretty fantastic. Splattery blue, bit of pink and yellow. I'm not big on colour vinyl, but when it matches the cover art, bit of a sucker for it. Uses the same colour scheme, so yeah. The drummer from the Black Death band Azath, he does drums on this, does some crazy fills amongst all the blasting. Really cool, tasteful fills, really dug that. Yeah, so that's pretty much what you get with Deconsecrate. There's the band there. Big beard on guy there at the front, who is the vocals, Kelly McLaughlin, with a giant beard. So there you go, Kelly. Dig your beard, dig your band. Enigmatum. I should probably go back and check out that Chaos Records one, and then, be annoyed that I can't buy it because it's in Mexico and terribly distributed. But anyway, enough about that. Deconsecrate, fantastic album. Next up we have Zastha with Hidden Law. Not that Zastha, not at all. This is not the US one-man depressive band at all. This is an ancient 1994 demo from Singapore. Band with the same name, of course, different logo, of course. This was stellar. I kind of just tripped over this in a distro in Queensland, I think, that I'd never checked out before. I was searching for, I think it was the Miasmatic Necrosis, and they showed up there, and then, as usual, you go, oh, new store. Go to the metal section, what do they got? Saw this, gave it a listen. Had no idea what it was, did a bit of research. Here I am now, Zastha, Hidden Law. So what do we have here? 1994 demo, pressed on wax. From what I understand, it was a pretty obscure demo, notoriously hard to find, so this has had a bit of a resurrection. It starts off with like a 2.5 minute spooky intro, like a lot of these things do, but then 3 long, sort of 8-minute tracks. The last one's actually 14-minute long, which is surprising given the kind of music you get here, which is raw. It's a raw sound. It's well recorded. Perhaps he got a good remaster on this, I don't know. But musically it owes a lot to Beherit. Beherit mixing some early Greek scene, bit of early Norwegian scene as well. Top stuff. Primitive, quite primitive. I think those bands I mentioned then are a good description, but a little bit of dark thrown in there because of how repetitive a lot of this is. Bands like The Black, things like that. This is just a surprising demo that this reissue label, FOAD Records, I don't know what the story is and how they got it or what made them go get it. Maybe it is just been demanded, I don't know. But I'm very happy that it came out. It's a lost gem. There's no other way to put it. This is a lost gem, 90s black metal, Singaporean 90s black metal. The first track is that sort of more faster, repetitive sort of black metal, but the second track has a bit more of a rocky sound to it. Still, you know, fast blasty black metal, but has the main riff is kind of more head banging, which is really cool. It's very evil. The whole thing's evil. So don't think it's beers and drinking black metal. It's still incredibly evil black metal. It just has more of a head banging sound on that second track. And the third track sort of mixes the two fast and head banging styles together. It's great demo. So yeah, this is reissued 300 copies, and it has Moyen has done the artwork, which is another plus. And two members of this went on to form Impiety, who are a way more better known band. So there you go. Take a look at the wax. There was a black version, but the one that the shop happened to have was smoky clear, which is very nice. I like that. With some crap that got stuck on it. As nice as records are, pressing plants these days don't give a shit. You get a really nice, is this A5? I don't know. A4, it's an A4 book in very old school photocopy style. Sort of reproducing the demo shirt, old demo photos. Honestly, this is borderline mandatory stuff. Certainly rare. So from that point of view, if you want to hear like all the old black metal from the time that you didn't know about, that had like a demo tape and nothing else, which is exactly this, demo tape and nothing else, then you should check it out. But from just good black metal music, that's the hidden law. Very thankful to FOAD Records for putting this out. Next up, I consider myself pretty lucky to get this, because the reissue, as far as I was aware, sold out quickly, but Season of Mist happened to have copies. Don't know if they do now, but they did 2 months ago. Forteresse Metal Noir Quebecois. I don't know how you say it. That is Quebec black metal. That's what you get here. The first album from Forteresse starts off with a few notes from like a folky dancing jig, which I imagine that's what this guy here on the cover was playing. And then it is just kicking into that French-Canadian black metal sound that we all love so much. As I said, the first album from the band, 2006. It's not quite as mature as they would go on to by 2016 for the absolutely stellar Themes for Rebellion album. Absolutely love that album. Songs are a little simpler, a bit more straightforward, centering around one or two main riffs, sort of blast for the most way. The drums actually sound kind of drum machine-y. Apparently it's not. It's a real guy, but it does sound kind of drum machine-y. So, it's a band that obviously progressed and just got better as they played more and more. But it is still an excellent album. I make it sound bad, but no, it's not. It's for a debut as well. Really good album. So, yeah, that's about all I got to say about it. Because Forteresse, Forteresse. The first album reissued on LP by Sepulchral Productions. Awesome stuff. And like I said, it sold out, from what I could tell from the label, very quickly. But I don't know. Maybe they did a silent repress of the repress. Don't know, but Season of Mist Europe had copies, so there you go. Check it out, you might be able to find it there. You might be lucky it's just black. I think it was just black. Yes, it was just black. And inside we get a poster, which, sure, why the hell not? Let's bring it out. We get old mate there with his gun on both sides. That's nice. And lyric sheet, which is all in French, so I've got no idea what the hell's going on. And that's a cool piece of art. I really like that. That's very cool. So there you go. Forteresse with Canadian, Quebecian black metal. Awesome stuff. Metal Noir Quebecois. Check it out. The next one we have is Galvanizer with their fantastic, really stellar follow-up to the 2018 album Sanguine Vigil. This is The Prying Sight of Imperception. Great title, fantastic cover, and I love their logo too. Their logo is great. Not rewriting the rulebook at all from the first album. I only showed the first album maybe even in the last update or one or two ago. Can't even remember, but it was pretty recently I showed the last album because I'm quite late to the party with Galvanizer. And yeah, this is their newer one. Finnish death metal, if you didn't know. Finnish death metal, but via UK's Carcass and US's Impaled and Exhumed. It's in that mix. It's not Finnish death metal via Demigod or Old Amorphous Not at all. These guys have been thinking about and playing the grind, the death grind specifically. Kind of in the necroticism style, in the riffs with a touch more D beat for the most part. The leads, where it sounds very much like Impaled, absolutely, that's the US aspect to it. Big, meaty sound. This is super thick, super well produced, appropriately produced, not, you know, triggered drums produced. This sounds like it should, big and heavy. It doesn't get too blasty like it does at times, but it is, you know, galvanize a focus on like what Carcass did on necroticism, which is writing great riffs. Carcass have always been a riff directional band, maybe not on, you know, Reeker Putrefaction. Let's not talk about that one, but Symphonies onwards, it's always been about the riffs, and that's why they're so memorable. Definitely Galvanizer has been going for that here. They're not just going for speed, they're going for great songs, and absolutely on Prying side of Imperception, they've got great songs. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Definitely, I reckon it's a touch above Sanguine Vigil, I'll say that. So if you've never heard the band, maybe jump on with this one. It is a Black LP, again, won't show that, nice collage of gig flyers, and the gigs that they've been at, which is cool, and lyrics on the back. So yes, Galvanizer. I am late to the party, but I'm very happy to be there. With a drink in hand, this is Prying Sight of Imperception. Great stuff from Finland. And last in this fairly lengthy record update, we have, finally in my hands, we have the new one from Warmoon Lord, Battle Spells. This is somewhat different from their debut album. Burning Banners of the Funereal Wall was one of my absolute favourite albums of, was it 2019? I think it was. Absolutely love that thing. Massive debut. So good, but that was a more raw sound. This time it's more keyboard heavy, really like the keyboards engulf the sound on this thing. It's symphonic black metal this time, way more than the first one. The first one had leanings, but Battle Spells is symphonic black metal. Raspy, shrieked vocals buried in a mix, sort of like in the Nightside Eclipse did back in '94. Musically, it sits nicely with Nightside Eclipse and like the new Stormkeep. I think you know what you're going to get with this. You know, there's more than a nod here to early Emperor, absolutely. Other modern bands like Vargrav as well, you're going to hear that sound. If you like any of these bands, you're going to like Warmoon Lord, at least Battle Spells. Definitely check this one out. So, lyrically, as the title suggests, Battle Spells, it's war and magic. It's all a bit Lord of the Ringsy here, actually. Very Lord of the Ringsy. I love the presentation too, like the gold print here on the black and white kind of shines. Very, very cool. One-man band, and old mate here is inside. This is Lord Vragilta, is that right? Vragilta, Lord Vragilta. I think that's right. Or is it just Vragita? Whatever. He's the Lord. He's the Warmoon Lord. Yeah, one-man band. Anyway, so there's a really cool gatefold. Great stuff. Great presentation. And I was lucky with this. Didn't intend it, I don't think. Maybe I did intend it. But gold LP, which really nicely matches the logo. So yeah, presentation on point, absolutely. Musically, really good stuff. The guy also has a one-man dungeon synth project called Old Sorcery, which I know is pretty well known in the dungeon synth world, which is not really my world, but I can respect some of it. So there you go. Warmoon Lord, top stuff, top quality, Finnish symphonic black metal, and that's where we're going to end it today. It's my big pile of LPs. We're listening to Pagan's demo from 1998 in the background. Show the tape again. There you go. Good stuff. Really good stuff. I've hung on to all these years. And if you want something to read, go and check out Deal in Death issue number 2. Links in the description. If you like this video, please do like, subscribe, check out this guy up there, that guy down there, and thanks for watching.